From the studio of WTAP Plus, you're watching Women of the MOV with host Phyllis Smith.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Women of the MOV. I am here today with Michelle Bearhs. She is the executive director. I was trying to say mission too fast of Latrobe Mission. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming in today. So we were talking a little bit before the podcast got started. Latrobe Mission is kind of doing a facelift, a whole rebrand. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So Latrobe Street Mission was the initial name, and it was, it's been about 14-15 years ago since a small group, there were some churches involved that started the Latrobe Street Mission, and when I took over as director in December, I just felt like Latrobe Street Mission was an address, and I wanted it to be known more for like it is a mission and what we're doing there to help others. And so in that, we rolled out the new name of Latrobe Mission. We kind of did an easy rollout at this point, and we have changed the logo as well as painted the inside of the building, and our painters are starting on the outside of the building next week.
That's great. And what does the new logo look like?
It encompasses like more of what we do. It has, it's kind of hard to describe, but it has a house like for shelter. It has a bowl of food. It has hands holding that bowl, and that's supposed to the hands are supposed to represent people, but also God, because we believe that Latrobe should be a faith-based ministry, and we should share the love of God and be the hands and feet of Jesus to everyone we meet.
And so you've been executive director since December? Mm-hmm,
yes.
Great. And so had you'd been there longer there before?
I had been asked if I would come part-time and help case manage about a year and a half ago. And I said, give me a day or two, think about it, and because I was kind of minding my own business.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, sure, I'll come help just part-time until something else opens up that I was driven to do, and that evolved into me being executive director.
Wow.
So how
has that been? I'm sure that's been kind of a lot to take on.
It has. It is a very busy job. There's a lot to do as far as the business end of things, the foundation of what we do, because although we are a homeless shelter, a faith-based ministry, we are also a business, right? And so we have to pay our bills just like everyone else. So there's a lot of grant writing involved, working with other agencies, that kind of thing.
So have you been working in this field for a long time?
So not professionally. I have been helping homeless for at least the last 20 years on my own. I had been known long before Latrobe was opened. Myself and a couple girlfriends, I'd run into women that were on the street with their kids, and I would start by putting them in a hotel room. And then once I could find them an apartment, I would help them get into an apartment and basically just walk beside them. Typically took about a year for them to get on their feet, and have their life back together. I'd help them find jobs, help them find other housing, maybe even get them into college, and just whatever they needed. And that was just who I was. So when Latrobe opened, like I said, 14-15 years ago, there was a couple times where they called me and said, hey, we have a mom here with kids. We don't really have a family room at this point. Would you be willing to help them? And I would take them out of the shelter and work with them.
And so is your background in social work, or?
So I worked for the Bureau of Fiscal Service. I was a program manager there as well as a federal mediator.
Oh, okay.
So I've always been kind of like that peacemaker by heart, and I would, that was the favorite part of my job, was being the federal mediator. I would go to our different facilities in different states and help mediate situations and disagreements, that kind of thing.
Okay. So what kind of made you feel compelled to kind of help with homelessness?
again, I've just always been drawn to helping moms and kids mostly. I think that definitely my personal life, I was a single mom myself for a time period in my life, and it was hard. It was extremely hard. You feel like a lot of times that you're walking life by yourself, and to me, it was like if I had somebody else, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I had family and things like that, but someone that would really understand where I was coming from and that would help me to reach the goals that I would like to reach. And that's where I felt that I could give back to women because I had been there before.
So I'm sure that, sometimes people have in their mind's eye a vision of what somebody who's homeless may look like. Mm-hmm. And what would you say, about that? I'm sure you see maybe kind of lots of different people that find themselves in that situation.
Mm-hmm. I am so thankful for, if nothing else comes out of this, I'm so thankful for that, because it is very misunderstood, and I've seen it on social media. I don't get on in social media and do anything about anything. But I do.
It's probably a more peaceful way to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do see comments, and definitely I've seen the comments about homeless, and it is misunderstood. So our experience at Latrobe Mission is 70% of the people that are at Latrobe Mission or that come to Latrobe Mission have never done drugs and are not drug addicts. 30%, you can definitely say that that's what it is. And they're also not all the recovery places, because I've seen that where it's like it's all these recovery places, and they're leaving there and they're becoming homeless and ending up in Parkersburg. And that is not true for several reasons, but one being whenever someone comes and they're not from our area, we do try to divert them back to their hometown. That's one of the first things that we will do. So that's why that's not true at Latrobe Mission. The other thing is the 70% that I'm talking about is people with developmental issues and mental health issues. And those are the hardest, actually, for us to get housed, because that's how they ended up homeless, because they didn't have the ability to sustain housing because they're missing so many skills. What it looks like to us is we have had many times 18, 19, 20-year-olds dropped off at our front door from parents that couldn't deal with their autistic child anymore. We've had mental health hospitals, drop people off at our doors with paperwork in hand saying that they aren't capable of taking care of themselves. We've had 77-year-old women who were evicted because of a hoarding issue. So it's a wide variety, and it's the misconception is that everyone's a drug addict, and that's not true.
I'm sure you see a lot of really heartbreaking cases.
Absolutely.
How do you like cope with that?
You don't get caught up in the heartbreak of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's tears shed, right, in different situations, but the focus is, how can I change this? How can I help them? How can I empower them to be able to get from homelessness to, their home again, and be able to sustain that home? And so you focus more on what you can do to help than you do what the situation they're currently in.
And I know people have a lot of different opinions about how to fix homelessness or help people get into homes. And I just wanted to ask somebody who's actually in it, actually sees the process. Do you have any thoughts about what you think would be helpful, or that maybe people don't realize?
So at Latrobe, we've done a lot of changes already, and for my opinion and what my experience is, we're missing things along the way. Obviously, everyone can tell what's been done is not working. And so when I took over, we started looking at what can we do differently. One, we're not just going to be a homeless shelter where people come and they have a bed, clothing, and food and hygiene products. That's great, but people need so much more than that, because there is a reason why they're there. And so it's connecting them, one, with the resources that apply to each person, because everybody is an individual. Everyone needs something different. And so you can't, it's not a prescription that, here, take 3 pills and, call me in the morning type thing. Like it's all individualized. And so that's one. Two is one of the things that we're going to be trying to do at Latrobe, or not trying, we are in the process of organizing, is giving them the tools while they're staying with us, getting in the education that is needed. People only know what they know. And oftentimes we take for granted that someone should know how to budget. Someone should know how to apply for a job. Someone should know how to clean a house. Like if they don't know them, we're never taught those things, then they don't know them. And that's oftentimes what we find. So we're trying to get in there classes of job readiness classes, interview skills, how to budget, how to talk to a landlord, how to get utilities turned on. It's a vast, topic when you start looking at it, but we're sectioning it off to where we're able to give them those classes while they're there on site in the homeless shelter, to give them the tools so that when they do get in that apartment, they'll be able to sustain that apartment because they'll have those tools. That's one of the many things that we could do to help individuals not get back into homelessness once they're housed.
Now, are you a 24-hour shelter?
We are.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know in the winter, that's really...
Yes. Yeah, we're open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Everything that we do is open to the public. If anyone needs food, clothing, shoes, hygiene products, anyone can come in and we will offer that to them. We serve 3 meals a day, again, open to anyone that wants to come in and eat. We do often have even families that we've noticed the economy has affected people even that don't live at the shelter, and we'll see families come in with their kids and they'll eat dinner. And our meals are absolutely restaurant quality meals.
Wow.
They eat better than most people do at their own homes.
Yes.
So
now I know some people that are homeless, they have pets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I've heard that's a really big block. They don't want to be separated from their pets.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on that, or does Latrobe have a policy for that?
So at this point, and I know in even talking with Salvation Army, because that's one thing, I'm probably going to sidetrack here for a second. One of the other things that I've tried to do is connect with other agencies. A big problem in our area is that people are either duplicating services and or they're on their own little island. And that's not doing the community justice. And so I have been trying to unite with agencies that want to unite with me. Believe it or not, there are those that I've approached multiple times that they don't want to. And that's unfortunate, right? Because that's a disservice to the community. But there's places like Salvation Army, Children's Home Society, Community Resources, United Way, that are willing, how can we fix this community problem? Not Latrobe problem, not, community resource problem, it's the community problem. So anyway, Salvation Army as well as Latrobe do not have any pet policy in place at this point, as far as meaning that where we can take pets in. I did have a conversation with United Way last winter about trying to come up with an idea in working with Humane Society. When winter months come, what can we do? What does that look like? And hopefully we'll have something in place, at least for that winter months when the warming station is going on, that we will be able to house the pets that people might have to try to help them get off the street.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so I was going to ask you, has there ever been, kind of an instance where someone had a really great success story? Like they.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We definitely have those quite often, if really, to be honest.
Oh, good.
We've had some weeks, we were just talking about it today, we've had a week where we had 7 people housed in 1 week. And that is unheard of, to have 7 people get into housing in 1 week. And there are many that do go on to be successful, I actually have a couple employees that are ones that they were homeless at one point, and they have been housed now for well over a year. They have went on to maintain productive employment. I don't want to get into too much detail because I want to call them out, but the husband is a supervisor at a local factory in town.
Oh, that's great.
And she is also in a supervisory position, and they bought a car. I mean, there's definitely those success stories. Now, I will tell you, then there's other months we might only get 3 people into housing, right? But even 3 is, that's one more family that we were able to help get off the streets. And
how many people can Latrobe hold?
We have 58 beds right now, and those are our full-time beds. And then we have our warming station, of course, that will open up in the winter time, which I can't remember. I think last year we might have had up to 40 at that point. We had room for more. I do want to mention that we are in the process of adding 6 family rooms, because we had been getting calls, dozens of calls over the last month from families. And that is a huge increase. Although we do get calls for families, not like this. And these families were families that had never been homeless before. And we kept having to turn them away because we didn't have the ability to house families like that. We have 1 family room, and so does Salvation Army. So we had never seen that many calls come in. So what we did was take one of our old dorms, and we're in the process of now, here in a couple weeks, having that open. So we'll be able to take 6 families in if they do become homeless.
I was going to ask you, I know you've been in this field for a long time. Has homelessness changed from the 15, 20 years that you've been in this field?
It's definitely increased. I think there's definitely more. From what we can tell, there's about 400 to 500, honestly, in the Wood County area that are homeless. Now, when we say homeless, a lot of those might be couch surfing, or just living like, maybe 1 month here, 1 month there, that type of thing. But it appears to be about 400 to 500 people, youth and adults.
Because I see, going back to Facebook, people say they see so-and-so walking down the street with a backpack, and I didn't know if, the numbers had always kind of been the same, if there has been that increase.
Increase, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's just so much that probably goes into it, trying to help people and meeting people where they are, too. They're in such a vulnerable position.
Absolutely.
And it must be comforting to have somebody like you to help them.
I hope so. I mean, I do. I hope so. You can't solve all the problems, right? I mean, because there's a lot, and again, you take them as individuals. But I will say, I do want to do a shout out to Moon King, because that young man, he is a blessing to this area. I know, there's some mixed reviews on that, but I'm telling you, I've never seen an individual like him at that age to really just be completely sold out to that. He doesn't like the attention at all. So if he sees this, he's probably going to be a little upset. But his heart is true, and it's real, and he lives it. And I've been working closely with him for a actual project that we're calling like the Move Forward Project. And it is about trying to look at everything we can do to give them every opportunity to truly be able to move forward, and again, sustain that once they move forward. And so I want to make sure that I definitely mention we have partnered up with him, and it's a great partnership. I am excited to see where all that leads in the future.
So if somebody comes to you, can they stay with you kind of as long as they need to, or is there a limit?
So it's technically supposed to be a 90-day temporary shelter. And we have, again, a program in place which we are actually revamping and, tightening down on it. But it is to, there's where they hit guidelines, right? We want you to be here in 2 weeks, and then here in a month, and here, so that they're moving forward. We don't want to be enablers. And I think that that's probably a little bit of a change from the past, maybe. But because we want you to move forward, and we want to work with you and give you all the opportunity that we can. Sometimes, or oftentimes, we can't hit that 90 days. And part of that is where our economy is right now. The lack of housing, is really difficult because, okay, great, they have a HUD voucher even at this point. But, we've sat and watched people's HUD vouchers run out because we couldn't find an apartment with a HUD
find
voucher.
somewhere to put them, right? Yeah.
Right. So if they are moving forward and they're doing the steps and they're doing the program, then when that 90 days comes, we're going to obviously continue to work with them until we can get them housing.
Yes. And then I'm sure, I feel like there's a lot of invisible barriers that people don't see.
Sure.
Maybe they need a social security
Yes.
card or,
Yes.
some sort of ID, and that can be probably its own hurdle
Yes.
in and of itself.
Absolutely. And that's one of the first things when they come. If they don't have those vital documents, we can't even start, right? So that is where we start. And that's one of the neat things that has occurred is we have partnered up with Community Resources. And they have been coming every Tuesday between 1 and 4 for anyone at the mission, and some people come off the street. And if they need any of those vital documents, Community Resources is meeting with them, and they are ordering those documents for them, paying for them, and making sure that those documents get back to them.
Oh.
It has been such a blessing because, first off, that takes it off of our case managers. And second off, people know now, okay, this is when this is going to happen. This is when I can get those documents, given to me. And so it's beautiful. And I would love to do that with so many other places. Anchor Wellness, they've been coming in because one of the things that I noticed early on too was there were people that hadn't been to the doctor in 10 years that were coming in, and they had issues. And they were, even if they went to the hospital, they might not be getting the treatment that they needed. I don't know if there's a stigma sometimes even at that. So anyway, Anchor Wellness has partnered up with us as well. They're coming Mondays and Thursdays every week, and they are able to meet with individuals, see what their physical needs are, draw blood, there's different types of shots they can give them. They can order medications, and they can do referrals to other mental health providers or anything that they might need. And then the prescriptions are coming from Cox's Pharmacy. Cox's delivers to the mission. So it's like things like that are huge hurdles that people help people to overcome, their needs, and it's beautiful because it's easy for them as well. So I can't wait to do even more than that.
Yes, because I'm sure if they need medication to manage their mental illness,
yes.
That could be, that's a hurdle.
Yes. Yes. And down the road, one of the things that we are working towards is hoping to get to the place where we have mental health staff and behavioral health staff on site.
Oh, wow.
And that would be huge for the homeless community.
It sounds like you're really you've taken on a lot since December.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. I was going to ask you one other question, but it just went out of my mind. Oh, I know what it is. So I'm guessing maybe a big hurdle is actually getting people to come to the shelter that need your services. Do you do a lot to try to pull people in, or is it kind of more you just, when they come, you meet them where they are, or?
Definitely. I think that we don't go looking for homeless, but we try to, our doors are open. We try to be helpful as soon as they walk in the door. That's one of the things I told the staff. I said, the front desk is probably one of the most crucial crucial points of our mission, is that when they walk in the door, you greet them with compassion, dignity, and respect, and you show them love. And if they ask for something, you give them more than they ask for. So, for instance, if someone comes in and they say, I need a t-shirt, and you notice that they need new shoes, you offer them shoes. And if they come and ask you for a snack, you go and look in our kitchen and you give them a whole meal, right? Because we have an abundance. We are very blessed. This community is very good to us when it comes to clothing and hygiene and food. And that will continue. I have no doubt about that, because we have a wonderful community here, and that's what it's for. So don't be afraid that we're going to run out. You give them more than they ask for.
Wow. Yeah, I do feel like when, if this is a community organization needs something, the Mid-Ohio Valley really does seem to step up and respond.
Absolutely. It is fantastic, and definitely that's where the heartstrings get pulled when I see that, because when we do ask, it's more than we ask for. I mean, if we say, hey, we're running short on, toilet paper and paper towels, it is incredible. We'll get stocked up for months whenever we say something like that. So I don't do it very often, because I'm like, I don't want to take advantage at all. So we try not to ask, but sometimes we just get in that situation where we do, and they are always very responsive.
Yes, and your warming shelter, that is at the Latrobe Mission.
Yes.
And so I'm sure is that kind of your busiest time of year when you see the most people?
It definitely is busier, because you've got more people in there. It's a little more chaotic having that many people under one roof, but we're busy all the time.
The need never goes away.
I said before the podcast, tell me about your day. And I'm like, I don't know about my day. I can make plans and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this today. But oftentimes my day gets hijacked, and the hours are long, but it doesn't feel like a job. I love what I do, and I hope that each and every day I am making a difference, even if it's in a small way.
I can just imagine this work is probably extremely rewarding. It's very fulfilling.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And like you were saying, kind of the faith-based, I feel like, that's what God wants you to do, is take care of people that are, in a tough situation, and help them. So
absolutely.
I'm sure faith kind of plays a big part in that as well.
Definitely. It does. That is the core of who I am, and that's what I like to. I'll go back to the women and children. We have something coming down the pipeline, as long as all grants align. My heart's desire is to start a women and children's long-term program, and it's not a homeless shelter per se. It's actually a one-year program where we pour into women and empower them. We lift them up, right, and show them what we see in them. Like oftentimes I think women are so busy taking care of everybody else that you can lose sight of who you are.
Oh, yeah.
And what your purpose is here. And so that's where I guess I feel the most desire to give back, is to say, what I see in you is this, right? And let me help you get there. And that's where I think real change comes, is giving them that time, that safe place, that where other women can pour into them, and connect them with whatever they didn't get and whatever they need, build their confidence, help them, if it's education, let's go out to the college, let's get you signed up for classes, let's get that started, help them with the kids, right? Give them that space and that time to have for themselves as well. So there's a whole program out there that I cannot wait to get started.
Yes.
We already have a building that is in process for that.
Okay.
And so I'm like, that's my super excitement.
So I got the scoop here on the podcast.
Yeah, so I'm like, Lord willing, but that's, God has always been there for me, blessed me. Right now I am in the place I'm at because that's where God wants me to be, and I want to do the best and the fullest that I can for others in the place that I'm at.
Well, yeah, you'll have to let us know how that goes. We'll
Yeah.
have to do a story on it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I feel like that's a great note to kind of end it on. Is there anything else you'd like to add or that you'd like people to kind of know, or maybe we didn't? I think we covered.
I think so.
think
It
we covered
seems
a
like
lot
we
of it.
talked about a lot.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on and taking time out of your day. It sounds like you are very busy. So
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you taking the time. And everyone, that is another edition of Women of the MOV, and I will see you all next time.